This time I'm going to do it. I'm going to be professional. I'm going to actually do a bit of self-promotion. I'm going to actually do introductions as well.
Nothing professional happens in a caravan.
Nice segue into telling them this situation. Yeah, we're not in our usual living room studio setup. We're actually 170 plus miles away from that. We're in Torquay as of recording. Anyway, I really didn't want to do this, but Claire thought it would be really funny if we did a podcast in a caravan. So here we are.
Yes, I did. Considering I can't have sex in this fucking caravan, I wanted to do something that I've never done in a caravan before here. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Hell no.
No, I don't think it's unreasonable for YouTube's #1 movie and television-based podcast to be recording from a caravan, don't you?
#1.
That is all a lie. I just made all that up.
It's been better than your normal ghetto.
A bit of it sounded believable, but I believe it.
None of it sounded believable. The only believable part of that was that we're in a caravan.
Anyway, I'm Barely Breathing Reviews. I'm currently drinking ale. As always, on episode 9, believe it or not, I'm joined by Scott.
How do you even know that it's episode 9? How long have we been doing this for?
I don't
We've
know.
only done 9 episodes. That is horrendous. That is bad of us. We really need to do more.
Isn't it?
We are like the Flying Dutchman of podcasts.
Honestly, we need to stop faffing so much. Because the amount of faffing we have done in between podcasts
We don't.
is horrendous.
It's quite a bit of faffing. It's been about a minute since I've introduced myself, and we haven't even introduced Scott properly yet.
Hello, I'm drinking Heineken, and we're joined again with our lovely Claire.
I went through a phase of being able to afford Bex. And I was living the high life. I was loving it as well. I felt like such a bougie bitch. It was great. But now I'm poor again. And I'm back on the deluxe.
You shouldn't have spent all your money on Donkey Kong merchandise.
I love those grabbing machines. I can't help it. Like with the arcades that you get on every popular beachfront. Other popular resorts are available. Torquay is just where we happen to be. Yeah, we spent a lot of money trying to get Donkey Kong. But we got him. We got him because, dear listeners, I play Donkey Kong when we play Mario Kart. He's my character. So when we saw a little toy of him beaming like a holy ray of light at us from the claw machine, we had to get him. We spent so much. We've spent a ridiculous amount trying to get this fucking teddy.
Over a tenner, I think you spent on him at the very
It was
least.
worth it, though. It was fucking worth it.
It might have been cheaper to steal it and just pay the fine.
It would have been cheaper to have gotten it off Amazon. Like, I could have delivered it to the
But you would have
caravan.
the thrill.
That's true. The thrill was what it was all for.
Anyway, on with this shit. Terminator 2 is coming back to theatres in 3D.
What, the same film?
Yeah, Lightstorm, which is James Cameron's production company, has taken the original 35mm film gauge. That's the standard width that's used to film motion picture and the standard width for still photography as well. And they've transformed it into 4K. It was then given to Stereo D, who's done Rogue One, Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, Fantastic Beasts and Fury Road, and they've converted it to 3D. There is a trailer. The new effects do kind of feel out of place, much like what George Lucas did with Star Wars. Do you remember ages ago when Star Wars was released in 3D? Phantom Menace was.
I didn't see it and I'm really sad. Phantom Menace, of the Star Wars, that like the newer ones, like 3 and below, Phantom Menace is my favourite of those. Because of Darth Maul.
I was in a conversation with a guy a few days ago, and we both agreed that the Phantom Menace was definitely the best titled film out of the whole series,
legit.
and Darth Maul's definitely the coolest Sith.
He's such a cool Sith. Like the double-ended fucking lightsaber. I know I could have made a dick joke there.
I saw the D on the edge of
Yeah.
your throat coming out then.
I will not let this podcast cheapen me.
Anyway, so yeah, what do you guys think about the Terminator in 3D?
It will probably be something exactly the same as the Phantom Menace. It will pass me by on accident. I'll mean to go, but never get round to it and miss it. That's what's going to happen.
That's with the guy, liquid metal guy in, isn't it?
Yes.
I actually
Yes.
wouldn't mind seeing that because that's my favourite one.
As I said, there is a trailer, and you can tell where they've put them on. Like, it doesn't look integrated with the original movie. It just looks like it was painted on top of and sprinkled on. You can tell it does kind of look a little clunky, much like as we just said, The Phantom Menace in 3D.
I don't think the technology is advanced enough to be able to convert those old films into 3D with a decent finish. I feel like they're trying to push something that technologically we're not quite there yet.
Lightstorm have said that this isn't the definitive version of Terminator 2. It is just an experiment that they're doing for their own amusement, I guess.
Okay, so they're dicking about with it and they've released it just for the lols.
Yeah, basically. Unlike what
fair.
George Lucas did with Star Wars, saying, no, this is the definitive version now.
Yeah.
Not just
because it shouldn't have been.
Exactly, yeah. So they're just like, this is just a side project for fun.
Yeah.
Not the new Terminator 2 final edition.
Yeah.
Going back to Star Wars, fuck all has been released in terms of the 3D prequels that they were going to do. We were meant to have The Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, and Revenge of the Sith in 3D being released
Were we?
consecutively. Yeah, The Phantom Menace was released in 2012, and since then, fuck all has been released from them.
Because no one cares. Like, no one cares that much. They're old now. You know?
That, and at the time, they said the reason that they're not going to focus on putting the other two out in 3D is because they want all their attention to be on the upcoming Star Wars films, The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and whatever's coming next. I think that's bullshit because they only made 23 million domestically off The Phantom Menace in 3D. So they were like, this quick cash grab attempt did not work, so we're not going to try 2 more times because we probably won't even break even, so fuck it. Let's just claim that we're putting all of our attention into something else.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you. Like, there is no one gives a shit enough to make that worth their while. I don't like 3D films, this is probably why I'm biased.
It's not the USP it once was, is it?
No, it's not.
Because we want what's next, like the 4DX stuff.
Well, it was novelty, and then people realised that actually 3D films just give you a headache and make you feel a bit sick to watch.
Yeah, a lot of people can't do it.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. I can't handle I'm not even ashamed. I just think it's not quite there yet.
It takes me a little while to adjust as well. A good half an
VR
hour.
I am excited about though, because I reckon that's going to kick off. I mean, I know it's already started to, but in terms of cinema wise, I think that's going to
Yeah,
be a thing.
we saw Resident Evil, the final chapter in 4DX, where it had the water spraying at you, the steam, and being prodded in the back. It was all right, but it wasn't really connected with the film. Like, during a quiet dialogue a bit, we'd be shaking around and stuff would be going off. And it was just kind of like out of sync with itself. I reckon it would be all right, but I found it more of a distraction than anything.
Yeah.
It was fun,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong.
The only bit I really did actually like about it, which I didn't mind, was when the wind was blowing. Like, she was in the building, as soon as she stepped out, you just felt the wind just blowing against, you just felt it against, and it was nice and subtle. The water was a little bit irritating, especially with the glasses, because the mist went on it, and then you're like, I'm trying to watch the film, and now I've got to wipe the glasses.
On the armchair, there is an option to turn the water off. That I will remember.
But then that would partly defeat it.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's nice to have the option, I guess. I wish you could turn off the proddy shit from behind. That I would turn off, definitely. Because I just kept thinking someone was kicking me, and I was about to, like, kick off myself. I was just like, who the fuck is... Oh, yeah.
I went to know a few times I got kicked, and I was just like... who the hell? And then I remembered it to chairs, like, okay. And then sometimes they were moving like that, you just feel like you're falling off the chair slowly, and then you just feel like I'm just sliding off a chair. That's it.
Yeah. Everyone hates being kicked in the back of the seat at the cinema, but now you're being charged for it. It's ridiculous.
Brilliant. One thing that I really hate about the cinema is the fact that if someone sits in front of you, you're fucked. I hate that. Well, I'm fucked. You probably don't have a problem. Being a short person at the cinema is shit. A lot of the time, if someone tall sits in front of you. I hate that. Because all I get to see, instead of the protagonist in the middle of my screen, is the back of your fucking head, dick.
I try to handcuff myself to the front row of the middle section. You know, where you have the stairs in front of you.
Yeah.
I try my absolute hardest to get there.
I like sitting there too.
Anyway, as you know, we had May the 4th a few days ago. Did you all read the news? What Star Wars news was released on May the 4th?
No.
No, I didn't, to be honest.
Of course you didn't, because there was practically fuck all news. What we did get was Rian Johnson, who is directing The Last Jedi, asked J.J. Abrams to change the ending to The Force Awakens. Originally, BB-8 was going to go with Rey and Chewie to find Luke, but Johnson wanted R2 instead, because I guess R2 has a history with Luke, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I'm certain that BB-8 will be in The Last Jedi. He is, after all, in the trailer. He'll probably be with Poe or something. But considering that all we got on National Star Wars Day, do you not think that that was a bit crap, considering 2 weeks ago The Last Jedi trailer was released? And I think it would have meant more if they waited a little bit longer and released that trailer on May the 4th. I reckon that would have just been a better way to release your first ever Star Wars Episode 8 trailer.
Yeah, it would have been.
On May the 4th. You know,
Yeah, that would make way more sense. Why did they do it early, did they say?
No reason whatsoever that I've heard. The only news we got was that alternate ending on Force Awakens thing. That's not really that
That's
crucial.
not even... I don't even care.
Yeah, we just switched the droids. Happy Star Wars Day.
Yeah, that's rubbish news. I love that it's a National Star Wars Day, though.
It is cool.
That makes me really happy.
Did you guys check the Star Wars, The Last Jedi trailer out?
Yes, but I watched it when I was drunk and at a party on someone's phone. So I feel I didn't quite get the whole experience that they were after.
I watched it drunk, I don't remember it.
Did you watch it drunk as well? I remember at the time thinking that it looked really cool.
Do you not think...
And different, like, I remember thinking that the music, the atmosphere was very different, and I remember it being quite pleasing, but I don't remember actually anything about it, sorry.
Yeah, they're basically copy and pasting the plot of another Star Wars film. It just looks like Luke's training Rey, in the same way that Yoda trained Luke.
Maybe they're going for a nostalgia thing with that.
It looked the same, they even had the floating rock thing going on, like they did in Empire. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous, but it was a good trailer though. There's a lot of voiceovers weaved in discreetly to different actions, with like dialogue from the original trilogies now integrated into these trailers from different perspectives of different characters.
I read as well from an interview that the director was doing that Carrie Fisher had a lot to do with the script of this film.
I think she is going to be in it.
Yeah, she's going to be in this one because I think they already filmed some scenes, didn't they, before she
most, if not
sadly
all, yeah.
passed away. But yeah, I think she was actually quite influential on some of the dialogue as well. I remember reading that, so that'll be interesting. Okay, so on to another franchise that we all know and love. I have Game of Thrones news.
Oh, sweet.
You know how a few podcasts ago we were talking about a spin-off series?
Yes.
And what we'd like to see.
Yeah. I remember that.
Well, this was all just speculation about what we would like. Well, now they actually are doing a spin-off series.
Do tell.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, so people that have been roped in to propose plot lines and scripts. Max Borenstein, Kong Skull Island, that guy.
Yeah.
He's been writing some stuff for them. There's been a few people. They've made deals to start developing possibilities. Nothing yet has been said about what might emerge from this process. Like, it could be more than one show or none of those. We just don't know. It may end up compelling enough to continue. We'll see what they come up with when they develop some stuff and propose it to the Game of Thrones people. But we made predictions, didn't we? And I can't remember what we said we'd like to see. So I think we should make predictions now of what might happen and then see if any of those come to light.
I personally would like to see the first age of men. The first men, like the wall being built, the origins of the White Wall. Because even though we saw that in season 6 just gone, but I want to see that explored more. Day one. I want to see day one stuff. Definitely. I don't want it to be like the Jon Snow show. I don't want it to be like the Daenerys Targaryen sitcom. I don't want any of that kind of crap.
Sitcom.
You know, I don't want any...
It is likely to be a sitcom, that is rumoured.
I don't want that.
You know what I think it will be, though? Who's the guy who, Daenerys, Mother of Dragons, Breaker of Change, Raper of Dildos, her... You know the guy who's like totally in love with her and he's so friend-zoned? Yeah, him. I reckon it'll be his quest to get rid of the greyscale.
If it's purely just him with that, I would not like.
Yeah, it would be shit, but I reckon it could be that. Seeing as he's gone off on his own little quest. Which is only to film, by the way, some shitty Netflix series that's out now. I can't even remember the title, that's how shit it looked.
Are you on about the Red Tent?
I don't even know. Could be, but he's in it and it's out now.
It is the Red Tent. I saw an advert for it in this very caravan yesterday and it did look shit.
It did look shit.
Hang on, that's the Game of Thrones spin-off?
No. He's in that. He looks like Jorah Mormont though.
That's why he's fucked off out of Game of Thrones to film that. And he looks exactly the same.
It's Jorah Mormont with a beard. He's in the same kind of landscape thing. He's in the desert as well.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
He looks awful.
He does. But I bet it'll be shit like that and no one will
He was hilarious in the final chapter, Resident Evil film. He was absolutely hilarious. Did you enjoy that Game of Thrones trailer?
Oh, the teaser trailer. Yeah, I like that.
The more I watched it, the more I enjoy the song that went with it. Initially, I hated it. However, I have watched it muted, and it is very impactful.
Muted?
Yeah, very, very impactful.
Oh, I quite like that song.
I reckon that if you could... Well, you could obviously do this, but I just put it on mute. If you just had the footsteps as the audio and the breath, that would have been brilliant. No music.
Halsey Castle.
Yeah.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Would have been sick. I really, really want to hear her in more series. I think her voice would suit a lot of them.
But did you, when they were zooming out on the White Walker's eye, did you see what was around the pupil?
Yeah, I've seen this as well. Like, people like to pick apart and speculate and all this shit. I don't know. Like, this shadow looked kind of like a bit of a ice wall.
It was blatantly the wall.
I
predicted seasons ago that the wall was coming down before we're finished with it.
It might not. We'll see. It probably will. You've read the cliff notes though, haven't you? So.
No, none of this stuff's been released.
I know we're past the books.
Yeah, way
now,
past
aren't
the
we?
books.
Yeah.
But no, when you look in the eye, it's got a crack through the wall, and there's some of the White Walker figures. But it could just be bullshit they put there just to throw people off. I wouldn't be surprised. People do that all the time.
Yeah.
Like you think the Poussey with Orange Is the New Black could be throwing them off as well when she was seen on set post death.
Yeah.
I think we discussed that in the last podcast.
Discussed
Yeah,
that
we
in
did
the
discuss
last
that. Yeah.
podcast. Yeah. Yeah, I reckon she'll just be flashbacks and stuff. Oh, she was such a great character.
It's upsetting she died. The
I
way she
know.
died.
The way she died was fucking brutal, man. Speaking of brutal, House of Cards. Have you seen the trailer? It looks sick. It does.
No, I
look
am
sick.
definitely looking forward to it. I love the last season, and I love the way it ended.
Well, House of Cards creator Bo Wilmon, he sold a sci-fi series to a US streaming service. It's called The First, and the show focuses on challenges of humanity's first tentative steps towards interplanetary colonization and the dangers the brave souls face on. So it's kind of like 100 million different other sci-fi films ever made, doesn't it? Like, people from Earth go fucking off to Mars to try and live there, like the whole terraforming thing. Like, so I really like Bo Wilmon's work on House of Cards, and he looks like... Have you ever seen a picture of him?
No, actually.
You haven't seen what he looks like. The child of Matthew Perry and Ed Sheeran.
Whoa.
Yeah, imagine that. Matthew Perry now, though, and Ed Sheeran. Not as Chandler as we know and love him in Friends, but the now version of him, who's a little bit rough around the edges, and Ed Sheeran.
I haven't seen Matthew Perry since that, when he guest starred in Scrubs ages ago. I think they were still filming Friends at the time as well.
Oh, yeah, no, he's pretty fucked now. Anyway, so with this plot, like, terraforming goes awry. It's been done so many times before that I'm worried that it's worn out, and I'm worried that it's below his capabilities.
I'm just wondering if it's just an interesting spin on it then. If he did the House of Cards.
What's he going to do with it? Yeah, what's he going to... Because, like, Alien had this, didn't it? Alien films, terraforming on another planet.
Yes, and it...
Total Recall.
Oh, don't.
Going to Mars, yeah. Doom, a little bit. Red Planet Species 2 definitely did.
Mm-hmm.
Where terraforming goes shitty. Isn't that going to be just like...
Most Marvel films.
Yeah, I mean, what can they do that's new and different with that? I don't know. How is he going to keep that interesting and not just like any other film?
I think with stuff like that, they usually just try and be like, yes, this stuff's done before, but never like this. It's more extreme. Yes, this stuff's been done before, but not like this. It's got more tits this time. There's more blood this time. There's more swearing. There's...
More something.
More bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's just more extreme trying to push it.
And
like
when it
that.
actually comes to it, it's not really that different. Yeah, I'm worried. I'm interested to see what it will be like. Cautious.
I've only seen one episode of House of Cards ever, and it was the finale of season 4.
Really? The first ever episode of House of Cards you watched was season 4 finale?
Yeah.
Because he came in
hilarious.
and he just sat there and just watched
I came in, and I was sitting down, and I was like, what's this?
You had it on Sky,
yeah. He was like, this is House of Cards. I was like, okay, cool. Like, 5 minutes later, I realised that I'm hooked to this thing instantly, and I'm just like, this is so much backstory that I clearly need to watch. But even the ending gave me goosebumps, and I didn't even know what the fuck was going on.
The ending of season 4 was insane.
I said to him, I'd love to try something once. I do a very short series, but watch it the last episode first and watch every episode back up to the first
Yeah.
episode. Watch it in reverse and see how it unfolds, just to see what it's like.
This is why I like to read the last page of a book first.
I do that as well.
Do you do that?
Yeah, I do that as well.
I love doing that because I'm like, who the fuck are you, this character? And they might not even appear until like halfway through the book.
It makes you care more about the person you're reading about,
Yeah, it
knowing
makes me
how
more
it's going to end for
invested.
them. If, of course, that's revealed on the last page. Sometimes it's not.
Sometimes it's not, yeah.
But
and that's the intrigue. of
You do
it.
feel more invested because you
Absolutely.
know how their fate is decided or how their fate ends.
You want to know how.
Speaking of books, wow, that was awful. The Dark Tower trailer was released a couple of days ago.
I haven't seen
The reason that's relevant to the reason why that's kind of on topic is because The Dark Tower was originally a Stephen King novel,
Oh,
which I have not read. I've read a couple of Stephen King books. I've read The Girl Who Cries Tom Gordon.
the girl who loved
Shining.
Tom Gordon.
Why I always call it Cries Tom Gordon. It is The Girl Who Loves
Because
Tom
it's the
Gordon.
girl who cries wolf, isn't it? That's just the way your mouth moves to form
Yeah.
the words.
Yeah.
Great book, though.
It is a very
Fucking
good book.
incredible book. I recommend that book to anyone. Like, Mum recommended it to me because she's a massive Stephen King fan, and I was really sceptical and hesitant, and it took me years to read it. It took me years to try reading it because I was like, oh, I don't think I'll enjoy it. But I did, and it was brilliant. Brilliant book.
Misery Lane was a very good book as well. Anyway, the trailer looks alright, I guess. As I said, it's an adaptation of a Stephen King book series. There's actually 8 Dark Tower books. So I'm guessing that this movie is going to be a Cliff Notes version of all of them, or just the first one. We don't know. No sequels have been announced yet. Basically, there's this kid who is like a curious little shit. He discovers clues about another dimension called Midworld. He then, of course, discovers the portal leading to said dimension, meets up with Idris Elba, who is the gunslinger who protects the Dark Tower, which connects Midworld to Earth. The gunslinger protects the tower from evil because if it's destroyed, then both Earth and Midworld are fucked, obviously. Evil is represented by Matthew McConaughey.
Of
Really?
course.
Quite fitting.
That sounds outside.
He has gone through another body transformation.
Oh, really?
He's skinny, so skinny, and you could see all of his like
Is he, like,
bone structures. Yeah.
I do my utmost to stay out of Matthew McConaughey's business.
Fair enough. He was alright in Sahara, I thought.
He did look good in Sahara, actually.
Anyway, Matthew McConaughey wants the Dark Tower gone so he can rule, I'm guessing. The only reason I'm interested kind of in this is because there's potentially interesting lore in this story.
Okay.
The whole between ancient, the good and evil thing, protection of this, what I'm guessing will be a sacred tower. I think it would be interesting to explore the history in there, much like they could have done with the Lycans and vampires, which they didn't do in Underworld because they just wanted more action in there.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I just want to see some interesting shit instead of people shooting guns at each other all the time, because I've seen that in many movies, including Underworld.
If I want anyone protecting my Dark Tower, it'll be Idris Elba.
I choose Travis Fimmel because he's good with a shield.
Yosemichi.
Nice.
Yeah, Tekken. You know what I want to see, though? I want to see Man-at-Arms make Yosemichi's sword.
Yes.
Shall we explain to people what that is? Scott, explain to people what that is, because you introduced me to it.
Men at Arms is basically these group of people that make fantasy weapons. At first they did for their own amusement, and then people started asking them to make them from other games, and they're just fantasy weapons, and they literally just forge them out of steel, iron, whatever they can, even like old railway tracks which they turn into the sword from Silent Hill, or what is it, a blade or a knife, isn't it? Which is not really a knife.
It was not a knife, man. That thing was fucking huge.
But they do some really amazing different weapons. Even the key from like Kingdom of Hearts, that was incredible. And they do Final Fantasy, the whole huge blade of that, which was as fuck off as you can imagine its size is, and it took 2 people to carry it and
was
drop
huge.
it. And they just make different weapons, armour, even helmets.
I find it really interesting to watch. Baltimore Knife and Swords.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's Man-at-Arms if you want to type it into YouTube and find them.
One of them was even from Overwatch, which they even put lights in with a battery, so the actual sword light up green. So you can
That
go around
was
slashing
cool.
and
That one was
hacking
really cool.
with a nice green looking blade.
And they actually use them. They hack the shit out of stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
There's 2 things that I find hilarious about the show. First of all is the soundtrack. They're obviously doing some blacksmithing. It's got some heavy, like, typical meat and potatoes metal to it.
Basic bitch metal.
And then when they're doing, like, the polishing, it's kind of like this slow, epic kind of piano, dubsteppy, orchestral fuckfest.
They have an app that you can even forge your own swords in the app.
They do.
Yeah.
I might get this out. Do you have to pay for the app?
No, that I know
Oh,
it's
that's
free,
so much better.
but with
I like
some
free apps.
in-game purchase.
Apps that charge are such bullshit.
The second hilarious thing is it is a bit samey. It's just like, yeah, I hit the metal, I put it in the fire, and I'm going to give it to this guy. He's going to hit the metal. Then he's going to soak it in some oil, hit the metal, and then he's going to pass it to me, and I'm going to grind the metal. After he's grinded the metal, that guy's going to make it look like I've done fuck all because he's going to hit my grinding bit with a bit of metal. And then we use that metal to hit some
Like NASCAR.
watermelons and some milk cartons and shit.
Yeah.
I still love the comment on it. Was it they're sitting there, splashes bits of metal, flames flying everywhere, and I run when the bit of oil spits out the pan.
Oh yeah, the whole thing looks horrendously uncomfortable to perform.
It looks. I imagine the ball sacks that they'll have after a day at work. Honestly, like that shit's sticking to their leg for certain. Okay, so I have Danny DeVito news.
Oh, you have said this. I'm intrigued.
I have. Well, technically, it's Danny DeVito and Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, so Jeff Goldblum we know and love from Jurassic Park, playing Malcolm. He also played Fly. And Danny DeVito, obviously, by Sunny in Philadelphia.
He's Frank Reynolds. He's
just Danny DeVito.
He's not the Penguin, he's Frank Reynolds.
He's not the Penguin, no, he's Frank. Absolutely. So, when I saw this news, my heart sank.
Oh, God.
Because I was like, surely that's going to be shit. This is the title. Jeff Goldblum and Danny DeVito will be squabbling musicians for a new TV comedy.
Jeez, okay.
I don't know how to feel about it, because there's lots of things about that title that make me feel very happy.
What's it called? That might give an incentive. I'm wondering what it's called.
What information do you have on this? Just a decent
they got
synopsis would be perfect.
We don't have a title, but we do have a bit of a synopsis. The two actors have both agreed to play squabbling former music partners in a situation reminiscent of their long-standing feud on new untitled comedy that Amazon is busy hoping will blossom into a successful series. Okay, so it's not been...
So is it like a Halfway Sunny that them just arguing a lot?
Well, the focus will be on Matt Downey, who Goldblum plays, and Arlo Finkelman, who DeVito plays. Decades ago, were a hugely successful music duo, but after a vitriolic falling out, they barely speak to each other in ages. But circumstances force them into tune titans, who also happen to be blithering idiots, to reunite. And it's up to the people around them, like the ex-wives, the kids, the managers, the friends and lovers, to make sure that things stay on track. To me, it sounds like just another remake of The Producers, but...
It's not really grabbing by the sounds.
Yeah, exactly. This is my problem. With Goldblum and DeVito, you expect it to sound amazing, and this sounds a bit shit.
I reckon that they would make a really good comedy duo, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I was going to call him Frank Reynolds then, because Danny DeVito would obviously probably play, just because he's kind of like the Frank Reynolds, and it's the reckless kind of like wants to keep partying hard, and he's like, and Jeff Goldblum's a sensible musician who's more like a managerial role of the band as well as being in it.
Yeah.
And Frank Reynolds is just the crazy ass rock star, cokehead, doesn't give a
Yeah.
shit. Jeff Goldblum is confirmed to be in the Jurassic World sequel, playing Ian Malcolm again.
Is he?
Yeah, that was confirmed fairly recently. Much more excited about that than when Sam Neill was going to be in Jurassic Park 3. But no, I'm looking forward to this. He's very consistent, Jeff Goldblum is, as an actor.
Yeah, he
reliable.
always delivers, but he also always gets similar roles.
Even when he guest starred in Friends, he was kind of the similar role.
Yeah, he played himself, that's why.
I'm going to give it a watch.
I would try it, but I mean, even Amazon doesn't sound hopeful that it will get picked up for a series. Even they don't think it's going to be popular enough. Which is a shame, because with those two fucking titans, it should be.
That Top Gear money's paying off, isn't it? Grand Tour money's paying off, sorry. The same diff.
Rinse and repeat.
Yeah, well,
I still haven't watched those, actually.
I've watched 5 episodes.
Any good?
They're like Top Gear, but a lot more blatantly scripted.
Oh.
And they did this episode where it was like some Edge of Tomorrow or Live, Die, Repeat, whatever the fuck they're calling that these days, where they were in this car, they were doing this like rally course, they had people shooting at them, then they were in the car blew up, then it was like reset from that last checkpoint, so to speak. They drive around in the car, get a little bit further, get killed, checkpoint achieved, go back to the beginning. It just went on for so so unnecessarily long, and it was just getting really, really frustrating. And they've got this celebrity brain crash or whatever it is, where a celebrity is on their way to the interview and they die in some ridiculous way before they get there, and the same gag is said, and it's just fucking pitiful. So yeah, I gave up after 5 episodes. Had me in longer than Robot Wars did, so let's give it that.
Robot Wars, don't even get me started. It'll bust a nut. So that was the DeVito news that you were all hoping would be better.
It'll be interesting to see how they film this, considering their height difference.
Yeah, Goldblum is tall.
Goldblum is very, very tall.
How tall is it? Because, well, I never really know in films. Like,
He's
exactly,
at least
you can never
6'5".
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Nah, he's not 6'5", is he?
Yeah.
I know he's tall, but he's not 6'5", surely. How tall's Danny DeVito?
Danny DeVito's not even 5 foot.
Danny DeVito's got to be more than 5 foot.
According to Google, Jeff Goldblum is 6'4".
And Danny DeVito is 140 centimetres, which is like 4'8", which means that I'm actually taller than Danny DeVito.
Which means it will be interesting to see how they film it.
Oh
Yeah,
my
because I'm 4'10". It's like Gandalf and Frodo.
Yeah, maybe. I just think they'll play on the height thing.
They'll play on
Of course
it,
they will.
yeah.
Did you guys get that link that I sent you with the subject saying we need to talk about this on the next podcast?
Yeah, watched it
Hell
straight
yeah.
away. Yeah,
Have you actually?
I watched it 5 minutes ago.
Nice. Anyway, I randomly came across Syfy's latest, whatever the fuck it was. It was called Blood Drive, and the official synopsis to it. This is for the benefit of the listener.
Do tell, because I would love to fucking hear this in comparison to the trailer I just saw.
The official synopsis goes like this. Los Angeles in the near future, where water is as scarce as oil, and climate change keeps the temperature at a cool 115 in the shade. It's a place where... It's a place where crime is so rampant that only the worst violence is punished, and where Arthur Bailey, the city's last good cop, runs afoul of the dirtiest and meanest underground car rally in the world, Blood Drive.
Wow.
Oh no, I'm not done yet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
I thought you paused for dramatic effect.
I
and then
did.
just go, ooh,
I did. It was a
and
long pause. It's a long pause. I don't make this up. It didn't even say pause in the notes here. Anyway, the master of ceremonies is a vaudevillian nightmare. The drivers are homicidal deviants, and the cars run on human blood. Buckle up, lube up, and prepare for everything you know about cable television to blow up.
God, lube up. I love it.
Wow.
The trailer is hilarious.
The trailer reminds me so much of Quentin Tarantino's films, like especially Planet Terror and Death Race.
Just to let the listener know what the fuck's up on this trailer,
So much.
just
blood.
YouTube Blood Drive trailer. It's going to be there. I think it's like the second one down.
Not the first one. That was some bullshit that they made me watch on accident.
It's the distant future of the year 1999. Okay, so
It's like Resident Evil meets Planet Terror. It's hilarious.
yeah, so the end of the world happened in 1999. So obviously there's been no advance in technology since then. So it's basically probably just an excuse to see some outrageous modified 90s tat, just for the nostalgia. There's this woman at the side of the road. Her bonnet is up. Dickhead pulls over because potential sex probably. When he looks in the bonnet, it reveals a circular sauce covered in blood. She just throws him in there, and the fuel gauge go up, and well, the rest is like Mad Max meets Circus of Horrors by ways of Death Race. The trailer is worth checking out for a laugh at the absolute very least. And the second I watched up... You opening Twisters?
Yeah, do you want one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The second I watched it, I immediately thought of...
Do you want the bullshit red ones or the actual green ones?
Bullshit Red.
You want bullshit red? No, they're not as good. Do you want bullshit red or green?
Green, please.
Yeah, like a man.
But yeah, it's a very Mad Max meets Circus of Horrors by ways of Death Race vibe. I hope Immortan Joe shows up somehow. But also, it was giving me a very, very, very hobo with a shotgun vibe to it as well. Like, it kind of reminded me of that. It took me ages to pinpoint it. I was like, yeah, it's Mad Max meets Circus of Horrors, Death Race. But there was something else, and then, I had to watch it a couple more times.
How many times did you fucking watch it?
5, at least.
Wow.
And then I was like, it reminds me of Hobo with a shotgun. Yeah, I'm going to give that a go. I'm going to just a couple of episodes. I know you'll be fucking.
I think I really
will
love it. I think I really will. I think I really will be handcuffed to it. I loved how it started with that trailer. It was perfect.
So if you like Hobo with a shotgun, Mad Max, Death Race, check out Blood Drive.
Did you have to check the title?
Yeah, I did. Shit. I had to look. I was like, shit, where is it? Oh yeah, there's Blood Drive.
So Blood Drive. That sounds good.
I'm not a salesman. I'm just giving you contemporary, up-to-date news from a week and a half ago.
You can't look at the news nowadays without hearing about hacking.
Was that your idea of a segue?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Let me strap in.
Strap on, mate.
Of course.
Daily, everyone, celebrities get hacked. Everyone gets hacked.
Everyone. I mean, it wasn't even that long ago that Sony was hacked, revealing all sorts of details about movie studios. And it looks like there's a new hack, and this time there's demands.
Ooh.
Yeah, so over this weekend, the hacking group, the Dark Overlord, tweeted a ransom note to Netflix, which has since been deleted, threatening to release 10 out of the 13 episodes of next season's Orange is the New Black for an undisclosed amount of money. Which leads us beautifully onto...
Dickhead of the Week.
Okay, so the dickhead in this situation is the Dark Overlord.
That's such a shit title.
It's a terrible title. Yeah, so Netflix prides itself on security. Like, they don't even release their streaming numbers. Nothing. Like...
That's just not... No, that is really dickish.
Yeah. And the Dark Overlord threatened to release these episodes. And then Netflix was like, fuck you, we're not giving you anything. Fuck your ransom. Yeah, so the 10 episodes are now on illegal file sharing sites ahead of the June 9th release date. And even Netflix are even saying, we're not going to bring the release date forward because you've got it. We're going to stick to our guns. And
The people want to go out and go and get it, we'll go and get it, and the ones who will sit and wait, will just sit and wait.
yeah, I'm going to wait.
I'm going to wait. I'm not going to
get it. Mostly because you'll get a shitload of fucking viruses if you try and download that shit, probably, because that's what hackers do, because they're dickheads. Like, this is the thing that annoys me with streaming sites and stuff. They're too easily accessible.
It makes no difference because Netflix get their money monthly, so it doesn't matter if you release their show before or not, because they're not making the money off the show, because it's going to be there no matter what, because you're already paying the subscription.
No, it's more that I'm annoyed at the Dark Overlord people. They're the dickheads in this situation.
No, they definitely are dickheads.
They're absolute dickheads in this. No, like, I'm just annoyed at, like, the way in which things are streamed at the moment. Like, I don't know, I feel like they're too... Like, people just take advantage of anything good, and they take the piss, and that bumps up subscription... Because Netflix, as a response to this, because they're going to lose revenue on that, will probably heighten up their prices. And it's the people that pay a subscription that suffer for it, not the hackers.
Yes.
That's what annoys me.
Yes, they will lose on that because the
people that
can
would have
access it
watched
for
it,
free
yeah.
now, so they can like, well, fuck this, I'll just download my shit instead. Netflix will start adding prices here and there to make up for that loss.
No, they do.
Yeah,
they do.
They would, definitely.
Yeah, they do that.
Because they get a constant monthly subscription and people still download it anyway.
Yeah, but there would still be a deficit in their profits, which they would make up for in increasing their service charge. So that's why they're dickheads of the week.
They definitely are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I won't deny that. I do like the fact it's Dark Overlord.
Yeah, that's
Dark
obviously...
It's making it quite amusing, the conversation.
Dark.
The situation is shit, but the conversation...
Production companies can't even trust who they hire in that respect.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I hate
That's why they get you
about
to
it.
sign
most of the
contracts
shit comes
and
from
everything
anyway.
else. But it doesn't still mean anyone breaks, doesn't not break it.
On-set leakage. Like, as it's being recorded properly, it's being recorded by Kenny, the copy guy's phone,
Yeah.
who
I wonder how
shows
much-
it to all his mates, who then spread it around everywhere.
I wonder how much more of it is mistakes more than done on purpose, so to speak. Spreading, like, having a conversation with someone and just saying something a little bit loud or like something like that, or do you think it's purpose, like they've gone to someone's head, like selling the information, so to speak, like, here you go, you spread this and you give me money for it, to like a news bit, or do you think some of it's just done by accident? Like, I wonder how much of it's done by accident to sold, so to speak.
It does make Netflix look a lot integral, doesn't it?
It does, yeah, but hopefully it doesn't once again raise their prices as a means to combat cyber terrorism.
It's like one of these ones, I'm going to choke this guy to death, then bring him back to life in front of everyone and make me look like a hero.
Yeah, but I can't remember what the chart is.
We don't need to know the chart. We're like over 170 miles away from the chart. I'm not expecting anyone to remember it. I know the worst is Konami, and I know that the writers for Jumanji are in that right now from last time.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not that bad. It doesn't affect me in any way because I haven't seen an episode of Orange is the New Black at all, so
I'm
I'll
upset
leave it to you
because,
guys.
as well, like, things like this often turn into memes that get spoiled on Twitter. So I'm hoping
Yes.
that nothing will get spoiled for me. I don't know, I think, what's the one before Shooting Blood? I reckon that whichever one it is before Shooting Blood is where it should go.
Okay, so the Dark Overlord, you are officially in the whichever one it is before Shooting Blood. In the Barely Banter podcast, Dickhead of the Week. Welcome to the exclusive club.
That sounds official.
That sounds very official.
A week later, you'll get emails. The death threats are bribing
We're
us.
being
going,
hacked, yeah.
Yeah, we've been hacked, so unless you want all this shit leaked, why don't you pay me some money? Okay, if you hacked me, you see my bank account. Good luck.
Yeah, exactly. You should be paying this guy.
I will release the review you haven't even made yet before you're meant to release it. Thank you ever so much for listening. If you know where the website is,
www.barelybreathingreviews.com.
Yeah, you know damn right I'm
I
a
was going to
.com.
go for the .uk.
How dare you?
I was gonna.
How dare you?
I know, I'm sorry.
If you want to ask us a question on this podcast, barelybanter@gmail.com is where you need to send it, or on the Barely Breathing Reviews Facebook. Someone will talk to you. Anyway, fuck off, we've got some drinking to do.
We do, you know. I have 16 beers to drink before we go home. I'm not taking that shit with me.
Well, I don't know how many I got left. I think, is that the last Heineken, or I got one more?
That was it?
That was last. Yeah, so start drinking the deluxe, man.
Yeah.
And you'll feel special.